got some fruits.
Yeah. Can we pay one more minute of silence as a homage to those victims of 9/11?
Okay.
Morning. For today's presentation, I selected a verse from the 6th chapter, the first verse of the 6th chapter in the Gita, which is called Dhyana Yoga. Krishna says, Anashritah karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnirna chakriyaha. A person who performs whatever he or she is supposed to do, duty, without depending on the results, without expecting fruits of his or her action, that person is a yogi. That person is a sannyasi. Sannyasi is not someone who stopped fire rituals. It's not an external thing. As I said, this is from the Dhyana Yoga. Dhyana Yoga teaches us how to focus our mind on the inner world, teaches us self-control, how to increase our concentration, how to contemplate, how to meditate in order to know ourselves. That's the goal of Dhyana Yoga. When we are talking about Gita, Gita gives us the essence of all the Upanishads. Upanishads which give the essence of all the 4 Vedas. Upanishads are located at the end of the 4 Vedas called Vedantas. Vedanta teaches us about the ultimate truth. That's what Upanishads teach us. And this information, knowledge that we have in the Upanishads is explained in detail and in a more easy language in the Gita. What do the Upanishads tell us? The Upanishads say that man has 4 purposes in life, or man has 4 pursuits, human pursuits. They're called Purusharthas, what man strives for. These Purusharthas are 4 in number and they're called Artha, Kama, Dharma and Moksha, 4 of them. Artha, Kama, Dharma, these 3 are revolving around the world we live in, whereas Moksha is the ultimate pursuit. So the 3 Artha, Kama, Dharma, these are called prayers, something that's pleasing to us while we are living here. Whereas Moksha is called Shreya, the ultimate thing that helps us. So what are these human pursuits? Artha is about security. Man wants security, emotional security, financial security, societal, family security. So this comes in the form of a job, home, money, relationships with the family, name recognition in the society, fame, power. All these have to do with man's feeling of security, artha. In addition to feeling secure, man also wants to pursue pleasures. That's called kama. Kama is to satisfy the 5 senses we have: the mind we have, something to touch our heart and also intellectually stimulate. And these can be, for example, food is something that we eat to feel secure, to live, to survive. But food is also something we may do for pleasure. We go to a restaurant, cook some special foods, not because we are hungry, because we want to celebrate, enjoy, that type of thing. Man also does other things for pleasure. It could be music, entertainment, going on a trip, going to the movies, having celebrations, functions, parties. All these are to enjoy life, going to the games. So many things man does. As time goes on, as man is maturing from a child where there is nothing but me, to slowly, man learns to start sharing, learns to think about a purpose in life, meaning in life, giving in life. It's not just a matter of feeling secure and enjoying for oneself, but then starts enjoying giving others. It starts with giving friends, family, and it extends to professional type of roles, extends to various types of relieving, being there for somebody else, relieving suffering. It can be through religious activities, organizations, fighting for causes. Some people take up causes like environmental causes, animal rights, working for the underdogs, victims. So man learns to expand his role in the world. When we are talking about dharma, that which needs to be done is what it is. It also includes not doing adharma, things that we shouldn't be doing, which would be like hurting others for our own good, tit for tat, or breaking the law, doing illegal and illicit things. That's also dharma pursuit, not trying to do what we are not supposed to do. These pursuits sometimes can be overlapping. For example, a musician may do it for a job to earn money, may enjoy it for himself, may have a concert to raise money for a particular cause. So it can overlap. A lawyer who has a job to earn money and does things for enjoyment, but may do pro bono activity to help out the society. So there is overlappment, and also all these are parallel. It's not one after the other, but we are trying to do all those things simultaneously. While we are pursuing these pursuits, there may be hardships in terms of health. It could be in terms of natural disasters. It could be financial hardships, family hardships. But for most of us, many of us overcome these hardships and we get what we are striving for, be it a job, money, family, friends, name recognition, and so on. However, even after getting these, whether we are at a younger age or much later in life, there seems to be a sense of insecurity, unhappiness, restlessness. There is a feeling of still seeking, waiting for something to go on so that we would feel satisfied, fulfilled. There is a feeling of lacking. No matter what we have gained, there is a feeling of lacking. And this lacking may be varied. It could be as mundane as individual things, like for example, somebody may still feel like they're lacking in their body characteristics, they may be unhappy about their weight, about their hair, about their height. Or it could be something like they make it what they want and still feel lacking. For example, they say depression is of two types. One is not getting what we want, or getting what we want and still feeling something is lacking. We feel let down. We may buy a big house we've been hoping for, working for, feel very happy, the elation is there, but then it goes away. And still there is no feeling of contentment. And comparison to others sometimes can cause problems also. So Swami Dayananda Saraswati, I think, says, this lacking, the more we go after what we lack, the more we breed what we lack. So the more we are pursuing, the more we are pursuing. Because what we lack has a knack of multiplying itself. So it keeps on increasing. Because desire is like a fire. Fire which says there never enough of fuel. The more you put fuel in the fire, the more it burns. So human beings can't seem to say enough to securities, enough to pleasures and all the earthly belongings. So man says, what else is there? Is this all there is to life? Okay, I want more, I want freedom, I don't want to feel anything is lacking in my life. And that's when he starts pursuing moksha, the fourth one. Krishna says in the Gita, however, so many men think about this, but very few really pursue it. And even after pursuing, they don't have the appetite to continue with fervor and achieve it. In the 7th chapter, 3rd verse, he says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatamaki siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvataha. He says, among thousands and thousands of people, one here, one there may try, but even after trying, maybe once in a blue moon, somebody might be able to achieve it because they don't stick with it. So what Krishna is saying is that in order to achieve this, to feel secure with oneself, to be pleased with oneself, atmanev atmana tushtaha, we don't need anything from the world, to be happy with ourselves, we need to pursue this with passion and stop trying to manipulate the world to keep us fulfilled, to please us, because we realize we cannot control the world. So how do we get to this freedom? The Upanishads say we get to this freedom through jnana, the ultimate knowledge. And what is this knowledge? To know yourself. To know yourself, as one of the Mahavakyas from the Vedas say, Tattvamasi, you are that. We are nothing but something, we came from the divine itself. We are nothing but spirits, souls with bodies, but not the other way. Okay. The Sufi poet Rumi, you might have heard about, he describes this very well. He says, you are a drop in the ocean of divine consciousness, and you are the ocean in that drop. So, like the drop is in the sea, and the sea is in the drop, right? The wave is in the sea is in the wave. There is no difference. So eventually, when we realize there is no difference between the creator and the creation and strive to live that way, that's the path to moksha. So how do we do this? By living in awareness. What does that mean? You probably know about Deepak Chopra. He describes it very nicely. Without awareness, it's like living in a dark room. We cannot see. We're always running into obstacles because there is no light. And there can be degrees of awareness, meaning, say like we light up a candle. We can see a little better. We can avoid getting into things, but still not very clear. If we have a bigger light, we can see better, we have less obstacles. But better than that, the sunlight, the unlimited sunlight, which shows even better. So awareness is like that. There is no limit to awareness. Like the light spectrum, when you look at the light spectrum, there is the big jar, the rainbow colors, and there is unending, spectrum on either side, infinite. Same way, awareness, divinity has no limitation. So what does this mean? What does it mean when we say we need to live in awareness? When we look at the various stages of human life, one is sleep. In sleep, there is no difference. When we are sleeping, there is no male, female, there is no up and down, there is no rich and poor, it's sleep. Everything equalizes and we are not at all aware of ourselves. Second stage, in the sleep we may be dreaming. In the dream, it looks so real. A king may feel like he's a pauper and a pauper may feel he's like a king. And many of you might have had experiences where you might have had nightmares and it feels so real, like the tiger is coming to eat you up and your heart rate goes up, you start sweating, and you have to wake up to say that it's a dream, you feel that it's not reality. So sleep, dream, awake. When we are awake, we know the dream is not real. And what Gita teaches us is, even this is not real. This is also a temporary state from birth to death. That is not the reality. It's only a stage we are going through. And the ultimate reality is beyond that. That is called Turiya state, awareness, realizing that this is also just a part of it, a temporary state of it. So, how does Gita say we can go to this awareness? Mainly Krishna says there are two ways. In the 3rd chapter he says, you can stay where you are, be a karma yogi, or go be a monk and pursue this jnana. Either way, it is fine. But he says for most of us, karma yoga is a better way to doing it. Because with karma yoga, we can continue to be a member. If everybody is leaving and going to the monastery, how would the world continue? Besides, are we ready to give up all these comforts? Yes, there are challenges in the society, but are we ready to give up all these comforts of security and all pleasures and all these things, and having a family, having good food, comforts of life? It's not, monastery is not for everybody. So what Krishna says is, do karma yoga. Be here, but start living in awareness. Start realizing this awareness. Become contemplative, become meditative. Become aware of this divine presence and start living your life as if it's a blessing, as if it's a gift from God. Start doing whatever you do as worship to God. Every act as an offering to God. That is freedom. That is happiness. At the same time, he tells us to work harder and harder to contribute to the society, because we have taken so much, it's our job to give back. But for some people who are ready to live without these comforts of life and feel they are at a different stage of life, state of being and stage of life, they can take up sannyasa. Sannyasi, a person can become a sannyasi by going through certain rituals. These rituals, the Vedas talk about nitya karmas, naimittika karmas, laukika karmas, means things that we do, including lighting a fire. It's a nitya karma. Every day we pray. Naimittika karma, like giving pindas, is naimittika once in a while. But laukika is world-related type of things. And the Vedas have a method, a ritual through which one can relieve oneself of all these type of rituals and responsibilities of the society and give up everything and go become a sannyasi. But sannyasi also has responsibilities: teaching, learning, guiding, spiritual activities, being a role model. So how do we recognize whether a person is following karma yogi or sannyasa? How do we know what's going on? What are the characteristics? That's when Krishna talks about this verse. He says, Anashritaha karma phalam, as I said earlier. Karyam karma karotiyaha sasannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnirna chakriyaha. Krishna says, one needs to perform whatever one needs to do without expecting anything in return. That is what sannyasam is about. It's not an external thing. Just because a sannyasi is relieved of responsibility, it's a symbolic thing he's talking about. Like sannyasi, he doesn't have the responsibility of lighting a fire anymore. That's not what it is. It's not an external thing. Earlier I was telling you about all these rituals type of thing. So what Krishna is talking about is, it's not the external thing. Just because somebody has shaven a leg and worn orange robes and relieved of these type of responsibilities, family responsibilities, that doesn't become sannyasi. That doesn't make him a sannyasi. It's what's going on inside. So the difference between karma yogi and sannyasi is, gnana yogi is, karma yogi is becoming a monk inside. I would like for you to really be clear about this point. We are living in this world, doing whatever we are doing, enjoying the world, but keeping the inside, at peace. You see? Whereas a sannyasi, he's also doing the same thing, but externally also he's changing. He's given up even his external appearance. Karma yogi is working on only the internal part, and sannyasi is working on both sides. Does it make sense to you? Did I explain that to you? Because both of them are very, very concentrated on the inside. Not doing whatever one is doing and not being attached to the results. And this point Gita talks about again and again and again, several times. This point starts in verse 47, second chapter, very well quoted verse. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala hetur bhuhu ma te sangosva karmani. Krishna says we only have control over what we do. We don't have any control over what comes out of that activity. We think we do, but no, we don't. And so he says, don't worry about the results. Do what you're supposed to be doing. And just because you cannot control everything that comes out of what you do, don't use it as an excuse not to do things. You cannot be lazy either. You have to do what you're supposed to do, is what Krishna says. In fact, Gita encourages us to set up goals, work hard, but be prepared no matter what comes our way, to be prepared to face it with equanimity, with peace, with joy. Why is that important? It has such daily implications in all aspects of life. What would be some of those? It could be as simple as a student going for an exam. Okay, if the student is so concentrated on the results, what type of grades he's going to get, whether exams would go well or not, and worries, anxious about the exams, he or she would not be able to study well, right? It's such a common thing that we think about. Worry is not going to solve anything. Anxiety is not going to solve anything. But we do that, and that affects our performance. So Krishna says, don't worry about the results. Do what you're supposed to be doing. And a similar thing in job interview. If somebody is going for a job and they are so worried about if they would get the job or not, chances are that person would not be able to do as well as a person who is more calm and steady and uses his skills to explain what he is in the job interview. And another common implication in day-to-day life would be for most of us who have already raised children, or some of us who are raising children, would be it's a noble act. We do our best. We think we have given unconditional love, but then comes the but. In the sense, we do have expectations. We do have expectations about how our children should behave, how they should study, what they should study, whom they should marry, how they should interact with us, all those type of things. Gita does not say we should not guide them and set them in the right path. But what Gita is talking about is, as a parent, we do what we are supposed to be doing, but then leave them alone. Let them be. Don't meddle in their lives. Don't expect, if they didn't call you on Friday like they said they would call, something came up, don't have to give them hard time. Just let them be. You did your job, let them be. That's what Gita is talking about. And same thing happens when we help others also. When we are helping others, we think we are noble and doing it, but if they don't respond, if they don't send a thank you note, don't say a kind word to us, don't thank us, it hurts our feelings. And that's what Gita is helping us to learn. Don't. You do what you're supposed to be doing. If they say nice things, nice, it's icing on the cake. But if they don't let that spoil your mind. Just because they didn't send a thank you note, how wise is it for you to spoil your time and your mind? It's as simple as that is what I understand. So the concept is to avoid so much suffering in this world through anxiety. Oh, another point I want to say is a sannyasi can also have these type of problems. Like if a sannyasi is worried about when he's going to get his liberation, you see, like if he's worried, am I doing the right thing? Would I get name recognition for this? All that. His efforts are also being lost. The point is not to suffer. If he expects, he's suffering also. So the concept is to avoid so much suffering through anxiety, guilt feelings, hurt feelings, anger, unhappy emotions, expectations about wanting to control what goes on. So they say the happiest people are those people who do not necessarily have everything, all the best things of everything. They make the best of everything that comes their way. There is another side to these expectations. Say we have expectations. We want 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything is going our way. We made money like we want. We have family like we want. We have a house like we want. Everything is good. That can also be very harmful. It can get to our head. Somebody said that instead of the money that we made, instead of staying in the bank or wherever it is, it can get to the head and spoil all this head peace and all that. That helps us that makes us be more proud and too much. How heads can be swollen, and that can be harmful also, is what Gita teaches us. To be humble no matter what, in good or bad, success or failure. We have to be humble and with equanimity. So the bottom line is, when one enjoys life, whether he is staying as a karma yogi or whether he's gone to a monastery, the secret Gita gives us is to enjoy life as a gift. This is the ultimate blessing, no matter what we do. And Gita teaches us all these pursuits. Okay, you pursue that. Eventually, when you're pursuing moksha, what Gita is talking about is you already have what you are looking for. Gita teaches us that there is no other place to look for except look inside. You already have it. That is the fundamental point of Gita that I understand. I would like to close with what Buddha said. Buddha said, there is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. Okay? That's my presentation.